Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our Magaya Product Summit, day number 1. This is our jumpstart to 2021 with Magaya. We want to say thank you to all of you for joining us. Today, it's our customs platform, and we're going to look at full compliance via ACE. We're going to give you a warm welcome. Thank you for joining us. And before we get started, there's a few slides we want to get over. So first of all, myself, my name is Jose Barahona. I'm the Vice President of Sales here in Magaya Corporation. I've been here for 15 years. It is really a pleasure to see the changes that Magaya is doing, not just internally, but also the changes that we're able to bring to our customers. So today, it's a great way to see all the things that are going on. So we also have 2 other speakers that are very, very happy to introduce them to you. First one is David Ortega. He is our product manager. He started in 2014, and he has been in our support department originally. Then he moved to QA engineer, and now he is a product manager. So he is someone who has seen a lot of this growth that you're going to be seeing here today. So I asked David, hey, David, let's go ahead and meet our customers. Let's go ahead and share something with me that I can go ahead and say, hey, we want to meet with our customers. And he said, Jose, 2020 has finally given me an opportunity and an excuse to skip the trip to the barbershop. So this is a picture of him before the COVID. So David, thank you for joining us today. We also have Mr. Steven Johnson. He is the Director of Sales of ACELYNK. Also has been with ACELYNK in 2014. Steven majored in marketing and minored in Spanish. And when I asked him the same question, he said, Jose, I want everyone to know that I'm having a quarantine baby. The wife and I are expecting December 21st, a total of 4 girls. This is his 4th girl. He said 4 weddings, 4 tuitions. So Steven, thank you very much for joining us today. I want to have David, our product manager, introduce our day for today and what we have in the agenda. But before we do that, there is one more thing that we have to go over with you. That is, you will receive a recorded webinar today. So any questions that you may have, please feel free to look it over. Anything that comes up, we'll be here to help you out. Please participate in the polls. Very important. This is how we know where you stand, where you are, what you want to get to, what you need in order for us to set you up in the right direction. And finally, send us your questions through the QA panel. We'll be here to answer them. If they're sales related, we have sales related people. If they're QA, if they're support issues, we'll gladly assist you. So thank you very much for joining us. It's an exciting day number 1. And David, take us.
Thank you, Jose. I'm very glad to be here. And I want to thank you all for letting us share with you the work that we've done and we're currently doing in Magaya product development. So thank you, everyone. The first topic for today is to explore the ACELYNK product. And I'm very excited that ACELYNK is now a very important part of the Magaya team. And I hope you're excited too, as a user. And you might have the question, right? Why ACELYNK? Why did Magaya go with ACELYNK? And I think that the answer is very simple. We wanted to offer the best ABI solution, the best value to our customers. And we believe that ACELYNK is that. ACELYNK is the best ABI software out there. So the second topic is the ACELYNK and Magaya integration. And this is very exciting because only a few months after the ACELYNK acquisition was done, our team put a lot of hard work, and now we have a functional integration that is currently being tested by pilot customers. So you're gonna see that today here. So, and the third one and the fourth topic are 2 products that we released this year that we're very proud of them as well, the inbound and the AMS query. So Steven, I'm gonna stop sharing and feel free to take it away.
Thank you so much, David. And Jose, thank you for that warm introduction. As Jose mentioned, my name's Steven Johnson. I'm the Director of Sales here on the ACELYNK ABI side of things, and I'll show you our Navigator platform today, the Navigator Pro suite, how it works, and go into a little bit of the integrations, so the data that's going to be sent to and from Magaya. So ACELYNK is totally web-based. We do utilize 100% cloud technology hosted within Microsoft Azure, meaning the platform is going to be available 24/7 from just about any device. All you need is internet connection. Leave the IT to us. We handle the updates to and from customs with your PGAs, tariffs, the Section 301 duties. We handle all of that on the back end. So you as the filer can focus on your operations. With my username and password, I'm able to log into the platform. And upon logging in, you'll be brought to this main dashboard here. This main dashboard is going to show you all of your transactions on a horizontal row, and the columns represent different data elements associated with that particular transaction. So for this invoice, I've got BG466, the broker reference number 007, and so on and so forth. Then you're going to see a couple of different icons that indicate either a status message or transactional status for that particular shipment. For instance, we have the mode of transportation, MOT. I know this is a truck shipment, and I've got two white flags here, kind of outlined in green, indicating that a transaction has been created and saved, but not submitted to customs. Now, once you submit a transaction to customs, it'll change to one of three colors: red, yellow, or green. Red would indicate a rejection, so you could hover over that flag. Let's say I have this 3461. I click on ABI status, and I can see the entry was canceled because we had a no bill match, after 30 days. So this is a transaction in rejection status. And we also have the yellow flag, which indicates an acceptance, but it might be pending something. So for this ISF, if I hover over the flag, click on ABI status, I can see the ISF was accepted, but I've got a no bill match here. I know that the bill lading is not on file. And that's probably because this was just made up. It's not a real bill lading that would ever be on file. And then finally, green means you're good to go. You've either got your release, your may proceed for PGAs, your bill on file for ISFs, your paperless admission for FTZs, or bill accepted for inbounds. But green means you're in the clear. Each shipment, again, located on a horizontal row, also has its own menu icon. This is where you can add documents, like if you wanted to add a new file, similar to a commercial invoice or a bill lading. You could add that file by selecting Add New File and choosing it from your machine, your computer, or dragging and dropping that file from your desktop. Once you've uploaded the file, it will be stored here. And I can show you what one looks like with a couple of documents added. So I've got a delivery order, and then each version of this looks like the 3461 and the 7501 that was submitted to customs. By default, we store each version of the submitted transaction with that particular shipment. So if you needed to upload files to DIS, maybe you get a docs received message from customs. You can select which file you want to send, which agency is receiving the file, and then provide a label. Maybe this is the entry summary package. So I could go ahead and select send, and that's submitting docs to DIS, Document Imaging System. You can also print documents. So if you need to print the 7501 or maybe print the delivery order, you could do so, selecting print, and it'll pull up those documents for you to be able to download and send to your client, or you could send it straight from the platform as well. The menu icon also allows you to access the invoice that will be created or generated based on that transaction. You can remove transactions from the main dashboard, send them to your remove transaction folder. Delegate shipments to different users in the organization. Maybe Conrad does the ISF and then Kin does the entry. You can delegate it accordingly. The notes section will allow you to track a footprint of what's happened with that transaction. So this user on this day at this time created a 3461. Then it was updated. Then it was finally submitted. So again, the notes section provides a footprint of what's happened with that transaction, as well as allows users to add notes manually. Note this icon here, this notes icon that's gray. Now, if I were to enter notes here, I'm just going to type in enter, save note, boom, it turns blue, indicating a user has manually added notes. And you can see this user, which was me, manually added notes at a particular time on a certain day. So gray means, basically just what's happened from the system side of it, whether the transaction was created, submitted, and then if the notes icon is blue, maybe a user has definitely entered notes with that particular transaction. So outside of the main dashboard, we have the Hamburger Menu icon up here. This Hamburger Menu icon is going to open up all the different modules, all the different transaction forms, customs forms here within the platform. So we have our ISF and our entry. We have the statements module, the admin module, parts and parties, reports, queries, support module for accessing the knowledge base, user manual, tutorial videos, all available here from this main Hamburger Menu icon, the billing module as well. Getting started in ACELYNK, the first thing that you would do is create your users and limit the roles. So the platform allows users to limit roles for each particular user within the organization, whether they are a user or maybe you're providing access to an importer, your account manager or admin. You can also limit which modules you want that user to have access to, and if you want them to be able to submit to files to CBP or not. And finally, you can also add notifications and alerts for each user. So some of these messages you may not want to receive on a day-to-day basis, like a bill on file. Maybe you don't want to receive that every day, but you see notification messages. Yes, absolutely. You can add an email address and add the alert. Or if you have, a documents required, those are things that you want to know about right away. So you can receive an email notification in addition to receiving that update here within the platform. After we've added all your users, we'll update any key settings like inbound settings, FTZ settings, if you're filing for different zones, if you're filing inbounds, company settings here for adding multiple offices. If you work with any vendors and you want to manage any payouts with those vendors, you can add the vendors here within the admin module as well. And then we get to the automated reporting. So this automated reporting module will allow filers to, set a report or select a report and send it to a single or multiple email addresses on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So if I were to select the daily statement audit report, which shows unpaid statements, I can select the report based on whatever parameter you want to set from the previous day, previous week, previous month, email at email.com. And do I want to receive that daily, weekly, or monthly? So here I can set it for weekly on Tuesday at 4 a.m. Enable the report and create. And then after you create it, that report will be sent automatically. There's several different reports that you can choose from. It doesn't have to just be some regarding statements. It can be PGA, or it could be entry related if you want the data that's associated with each transaction, your entry information, and so on and so forth. Inbound reports can be automated as well. Once your users are updated, your importers have been added, you can then update those importer accounts. And these would be more or less like the importer record. If you have importers that are filing with different PGAs like FDA, EPA, or whatever it may be, you can add special contacts like prior notice submitter to that particular importer account. Stephen Johnson, email, phone. So this data will automatically pull into the FDA form. There's a lot of automation that's available, and that's the common theme here with the platform, is eliminating redundancies in what you're entering into the form so you get to the end result quicker and more efficiently. So there's a lot of automation that we help our users with, whether it's PGA contacts or parts or parties that they're adding into the entry form, that just eliminate, like I said, those redundancies in data input. Once you've added your importer accounts, you can also default the entry form, again, eliminating how much data that you're adding into the entry form at a later date. If you've got an importer that's always bringing entry type 01, maybe the mode of transportation is always vessel. If it's consistent from shipment to shipment, you can default it here in the entry form, just to save you some time. And then you can manage the schedules, the fee schedules, based on what you're charging that importer, and their transaction types. So if you've got FDA fees that you want associated with that importer account, you can add them, and you can automate those as well. You do have the option to automate them into the invoices for some of the bill codes. Once your importers are added, we'll add the trade parties. So the trade parties will be the manufacturers, consolidators, stuffing location, consignees, all the trade parties that are going to be entered into the transaction form, the customs form, whether it's your ISF, your entry, INBON, or whatnot. But those can all be added here, and you can also default some of the FDA registration number, or maybe if it's a domestic entity, the DUNS number. You can also add first name, last name, phone number, and email. So it pulls in, again, some of the contact information into the FDA form, like the FSV, Foreign Supplier Verification. If you hard code that data here, it will pull it in automatically if you have FDA transactions. You can make them available for all accounts, for all your importer accounts. And then say you're creating a new manufacturer who doesn't have a mid code. You can enter these 4 data elements, calculate the mid code, and submit it to CBP, where your responses are received in real time. So you'll know that that mid either existed already or was added correctly immediately. After the trade parties have been added, we can go into inventory parts. This really comes into play for FTZ filers. So if you're filing for someone operating an FTZ, you're going to use part numbers for the inventory control aspect. And that's where we will come in, provide an Excel sheet so we can upload bulk products at one time, or a lot of products at once, or you can add them manually, one at a time as new parts arrived. Either option is available. So once your parts are uploaded for the FTZ, we also recommend using parts for your FDA filers, because if you hard code the data to a part, again, you don't have to enter it later into the form. So for this part that I have right here, FSV default testing for bananas, I can click on this FDA icon. Notice the agency processing code as NSF was added automatically, and the product code number for FDA product code was added automatically. A lot of this other info was either added by the user or based on the account, but really these 2 data elements, the processing code and the product code number, are all that would need to be added into this part to use it and not even touch the FDA screen in the entry form. We could call it lights out. You file your entry form and submit your FDA prior notice data without ever touching the FDA form, because you're automating that data from the beginning, saving you, again, a lot of time. Once everything is configured from an admin, importer, trade party, parts perspective, we'll want to make sure we update your billing info. So the billing info is where you can add your company information to an invoice that's going to be sent out to an importer. You can add terms and conditions that will print. All this information will print on the invoice itself. You can upload your logo, so it will be displayed on the invoice as well. And then submit that invoice either from your accounting department or directly here within the platform. You can email the documents that are associated with the shipment, the 7501 itself, and the invoice straight from the platform. And you can use our bill codes or wipe them and use an updated list of your own bill codes. It doesn't matter. But all of your bills are going to be located here. So after billing, now we're ready to take a look at some of the other capabilities. So out of the box, you have your query capabilities for running manifest query, bond query, miscellaneous query for tariff code, SCAT code, mid-code queries. All of these query results, they do come back in real time, almost immediately. So if I were to copy this IRS number, go to bond query, select get report, I can run a query with customs and get my response, like I said, almost immediately. It just takes a few seconds for customs to come back. And here we have this importer name, their bond info, and you can extract all of that info and create an importer account straight from the query result, which is what we recommend because that's what's on file with customs. It's most of the time accurate and true. However, if it does need updating, you can always submit that 5106, which is something you can do here from within the platform by submitting the form 5106. In addition to the different types of queries that you have here, you can also run the denied party query. So your importers are compliant with not sending shipments to consignees on the denied party list. Huge fines and/or jail time be associated. So this is one way to remain compliant. Product code builder to create and verify FDA product codes. After queries, we're ready to take a look at some of the transaction types. So today I have this transaction that I've kind of created before the presentation. But you will see that after we submit this, I can get the responses received in the Magaya platform in real time. So this is our transaction form, or our entry form, I should say. It is a single page consistent with ACE being the single window for transmitting to and from customs. We offer a single form for you to file and submit from top to bottom. We have our entry filing type. So here I've got 01, my entry number that was generated by the system. I've got Air Magaya test, just because I'm doing an air shipment here, and your broker reference number. The bond information, this is all going to be pulled from the importer account, which is located up here. Action code, we're going to add a new entry summary. The mode of transportation, I've selected air non-container, and the payment type for paying duties set to 2, which is just the payment type we're using for this particular transaction. Then I've got my invoice date. I could change that maybe to today's date. Importer reference number is an optional field. You could add it if you'd like. Contact info is pulled automatically based on the user. And then there's some indicators here in this section that basically flag the shipment with customs, as well as logic within our system. So we can prorate the freight charges for each line. We can automate the statement print date based on the anticipated release date that you have. Auto-calculate the line's weight. Is it a personal shipment? Is it RLF? Are they perishable goods? Different flags and indications to let customs know a little bit more about the shipment that you're sending. Then we get to our bill of lading. So here I've got a regular simple bill, American Airlines, the IATA, the bill of lading, our quantity, and then for unit of measure, if you type in carton and select it from the dropdown, the abbreviation, the correct abbreviation that customs accepts will populate. You can also run an AMS query from within the form and extract the query results to be added into the entry form, like your vessel number, also ports of unlading. All that data can be pulled from the AMS query and added into your entry. If you do have an inbound, you can add the inbound information right here before submission. And then we get to the trade partners. So all of these trade partners that you see here, I've added before, but they appear in a drop-down list. And this is, again, just the trade parties that were added to that trade parties module. So each importer has a database of trade parties, and this is where they're used within the form. And I've got my consignee and so on and so forth. Then we get to the next section of the form, which is more or less the header section of the printed 7501 entry summary. We have our currency, US dollars, firm's code, release port, port of unlading. A lot of this information is stuff that you have either from the arrival notice or bill of lading, or wherever you got it. It's just a matter of plugging it in and chugging along. So you enter your data. Here, if you had, say you knew it was Austin, but forgot the port code, you could just type in Austin, select it from the dropdown. We've got a calendar for the arrival date and a tooltip with most of these boxes as well. So the anticipated date when shipment arrives into the US. Country of origin, country export, gross weight, again, so on and so forth. So this is the weight that's prorated with the lines based on the indication that we have here to auto-calculate the line's weight. Export date, and then we have our statement print date, which is again automated based on what we've selected in the form indicators. From there, we can add or remove any non-dutiable charges if we have any non-dutiable charges. If not, we're ready to take a look at our line items. So here's the line item that was created. We have our tariff codes that were added. There's logic behind the system, and I can show you how that works now. If I were to type in, say I have a paper products at $100,000 and it's 5,000 square meters. I can save the line, and the system automatically prompts me, do I want to add that additional section 301? So there, again, a lot of logic behind the scenes that are happening to simplify the filing process for the users. If you do have, say you got mangoes, you're bringing in mangoes, we have indicators that pop up here. FDA is required, USDA, APHIS, and that goes for any governmental agency. You know, if it applies, if it's flagged for that tariff, we show you the indicator, the icon here at this section. If there's ADD, CVD, or if quota, you know, there would be a checkbox that would pop up to indicate, hey, you know, quota may be applied, or ADD, CVD case numbers may need to be applied, and so on and so forth. Or we could use our parts, and if I use that part that I showed you earlier, the banana, could enter my line value, 5,000, 50,000 kilograms, and if I click on the FDA and OK Open PGA, it pulls up the FDA form. Again, here's that NSF, natural state food, for the processing code, but everything else is pulled either from the part or the entry form itself. I, as the user, do not have to change anything in here because it's all automated based on what was previously added. So I could go ahead, save and close, and I would be done with that FDA form. Now I'm going to delete this one and clear my line. But this entry would be ready to be submitted. So if I scroll to the top, I can show you some of the other features. You can do a save as if you wanted to create a new entry from the existing entry information. You can upload templates. You could save this as a template and reuse it. Lots of different features available, again, if you have similar or alike shipments. Before I submit this entry summary, though, I did want to show you the statements module. So paying statements in the ACELYNK ABI solution is very simple. All you do is select mark, authorize, done. That's paying your statements, or maybe you need to update a statement print date. So say this statement needs to be moved to the 2nd, and the payment type's the same, no periodic monthly statement, so we're good. We could just submit it, and then boom, we submit it, and it would be updated accordingly. Let me add this one. It's basically giving me a warning that the statement date is beyond the release date. However, in certification, it doesn't matter. But that's as easy as it is. So I got that notification saying, hey, this has been moved. After statements, I'll show you the reports. Again, lots of different reports that are available here for our filers. Operator activity reports to see individual operators, how many transactions they're filing, how many have PGAs, so on and so forth. Lots of different inventory reports for our FTZ filers to help manage inventory levels and make sure that the tally-ins and tally-outs are accounted for. Pending inbound arrivals and exports, all of these reports that are available not only here, but most of them also available as an automated report within the admin module to be received by single or multiple email addresses on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Just another tool that helps keep the filers organized. Again, I am going to submit this entry, but before I do, a couple other things. We have our email distribution module. So say I wanted to, let's pull this entry number. Say I wanted to send this entry or this entry summary and the delivery order. If it had a bill, I could include the bill, but this one doesn't have a bill. If I had backup documents, I could include the backup documents. And if there were multiple backup documents, I could select which ones I wanted to send and send a single or multiple email.com email addresses here in this field. So you can send the entry summary, the delivery order, the backup documents, the invoice, all from within the platform to single or multiple email addresses. Now I'm ready to submit this. Once I validate the form, it pulls up a summary of what I'm going to submit. The validation seems to have gone through. I didn't get any rejections. If you did, if you were missing data elements, the system would say, hey, you don't have data elements in these fields. It's required. Please enter them before you submit. But here, the summary shows us our importer account, the entry number, which form we're filing and where we're clearing it, the mode of transportation, the bill lading info, arrival, import, export date, your duties and financial information, statement print date, and if you had any governmental agency or PGA requirements, we show you how many are required, how many may be required, and how many you have entered. After that, I'm ready to submit. I could go ahead and select submit. And I get my response again in just a few seconds. So Customs is receiving this right now in real time and coming back with an either acceptance or rejection. And there it is. Summary has been added. So if I go here, I could refresh this if I wanted, but it is a live update screen. You don't have to refresh it. Here's the entry that we just did together. And you can see that flag. Initially, it was red because it had been deleted, but we just resubmitted it. So I've got my ABI messages. And once this loads here, I've got my summary has been added. Inevitably, there it is. Inevitably, I will receive the SE data accepted and no bill match because they, the SE data, which is your cargo release data, was accepted, but bill lading was made up. So we're never going to get that bill match. And from there, I would like to turn it over back to David to show you how some of that integration piece is working, show you how those messages are received in your Magaya suite. So David, unless you think I left something out, I will open the floor back up to you, sir.
All right, thank you, Stephen. What an amazing product. All right. So what was presented at the end of the demo is really important for the integration, right? So Stephen presented a filing of an entry summary and also showed the response from Customs, right? Those responses that we get when we file to Customs. That is the focus of our integration. We want to make sure we get all CBP responses and we receive that gets to ACELYNK and we forward that to Magaya. And how does this work? And we're gonna see it now. It's really simple. The way it works is we get the bill of lading that you have on ACELYNK and the bill of lading that you have on Magaya, and we match it, right? And as soon as you get a CBP message on ACELYNK, ACELYNK will forward that to Magaya, and you will see it on your Magaya shipment. So let's see it in action now. All right. All right. All right, you should be seeing my screen now. Right, so right now we're seeing Magaya. This is a Magaya shipment. And this is a shipment, this is the same shipment that Stephen had on ACELYNK. We have the same airworld bill number here. And we receive the event. In this case, the summary has been added. So if we check this event, it has the date, the time of the event, and the details. Basically, here we have the entry summary number and the fact that the entry summary was added. So you will receive all these messages on your Magaya shipment. But not only that, you will also get these messages on live track if you include those event definitions in tracking. And let's see that. Let's see that on live track. All right. Okay. 1 second. To reshare my phone, because we also have a live track mobile app, and you will be able to get all these, your customers will be able to get all these notifications on their application. I'm just connecting now the phone to my computer so I can show you. All right. Okay, so here we get the notification. So this is the live track mobile, and here we get a notification saying that, hey, this shipment, you have an entry somewhere for it, and you receive a message from Customs, right? So if we get there, we can see the shipment on live track with all the details and the events as well, right? In this case, entry summary accepted. Right? So this gives you this level of visibility and control on Magaya, but also you're able to pass this to your customers. So no calls to verify if the entry was accepted, what is the status of the entry. You can automate all this process. Right, so let's go back to the presentation and talk about the value of this integration. And as you can see, it was very, very simple, right? This integration works seamlessly. So with a little bit of setup, you only need to configure your ACELYNK account and your Magaya account to be connected. You can get all these messages from ACELYNK. All right. All right. So the main value here is that as in the Magaya ecosystem, we have live track, we have Magaya Explorer with shipments, with reports. Now we tightly integrated ACELYNK as well into this ecosystem. So it's one single platform. So this allows you to get updated with events anytime. Whatever happens on ACELYNK, you will see it on Magaya. And by having these events in Magaya, you can take advantage of another product of the Magaya ecosystem, which is live track, to get live events and notify your customers. So this is the first step of the ACELYNK integration that we have planned. So we're looking right now at the roadmap for the Magaya ACELYNK integration. And the first step is what you just saw, automatic events updates. And the second step is the entry summary. So we want you to be able to reuse the data that you have on your Magaya to create ACELYNK entry summaries. So we plan to have this functionality ready by Q1 next year. And in a similar way, we want to integrate ISF next year. So we also want to provide accounting and documentation features, such as getting, let's say, invoices from ACELYNK and documents to Magaya. And then finally, we're really excited about this project, is that we want to take advantage, right, of our strong WMS system and the ACELYNK ABI solution, which is incredible, to provide a complete FTC solution. Okay, so now we kindly ask you to take a brief moment to answer a few questions that can help us design our products. We really appreciate your feedback. Victoria, if you can help us with a poll. All right, thank you everyone for your help. And now let's talk about the inbound product. So how does the inbound product fit into your operation? So the principal fact here, the main value is that you can use it directly from Magaya, and you can reuse your shipment data to file inbounds. And having automatic events, The same way we have with ACELYNK, we also have it with the inbound portal. So everything that you transmit through the inbound portal, you will get the events back to Magaya. And in this way, you can be on top of your CBP transaction from Magaya and from LiveTrack as well. So the main value here is that you're able to use Magaya as your operational hub and file directly and reuse that data that you have on Magaya. So let's see a quick demo of the inbound. All right. Sorry for all the screen sharing change. All right. So here we have a shipment in Magaya, right? And this shipment, we have items, we have a container, we have some entities that we want to use on that inbound filing, and the way we developed this extension, this inbound portal extension, was to make it simple, right? And we added an option on the customs menu here on your shipment that allows you to create a file, to create an inbound directly, and we're going to see what a file is in a second. And then once you created that file, you can go to that file, go to the portal as well, and check on the messages. So I'm going to briefly cover the inbound portal that we currently have, because also you can file inbounds on ACELYNK if you're already using the ACELYNK platform, right? So let's create a file for this shipment. So the first screen that we get here, give it a second, okay, is the list of houses that you have on this shipment. In this case, we have 2 houses, and we'll let you select the houses that you want to use for the inbound. So let's select both of them, and let's click on continue. Right, now it's creating the file on your inbound portal. So here we can see that we have a file, and this is very similar to the concept that we have in Magaya for an incoming shipment. This is an incoming shipment with incoming shipment information, routing information, conveyance information, and cargo information. And I just want to highlight here some nice features that we included to improve the user experience. And we know that customs could be complex. We're here to make it simpler. So on the bill of ladings, you see that you have bill of lading general information, then you have parties, and at the same time you have pieces information, right, on the volume, the weight, but also we have other informations that, as you all know, if you're familiar with inbound, you have to transmit to customs or show on the document. So what we did here is that we added the functionality to show you only what you currently have on the system, on the data that you brought from Magaya. And then we give you the possibility to add more information. For example, here, these features allows you to add and remove tabs. For example, if you want to add notified parties, you can add this tab, or if you don't want to use it, then you just can remove it. And the same thing for the containers. The only tab that you cannot remove is the general one, as it is required. Then let's click on, when you're ready, you click on create new inbound. And then this gets us the list of bill of ladings again, and why this happens. So let's say that you have a master, we have 2 houses, and you want to create an inbound for each one of those. So we will let you do that. We provide that functionality. So let's say that in this case, we only want to create an inbound for this house in particular, and then later on, we can come back to the same file to create another inbound for the other house. So we click on add. And then we get this message because we don't have any inbound numbers available, but that's okay. We're not gonna fill in all this inbound right now. Right, so here you have the inbound information, class of entry. Here you can do IEs, you can do immediate exportation, transportation and exportation, and immediate exportation. And we get all this data that we had on the file to the inbound. So then you can transmit it. So let's take a look at an existing inbound. This time is gold. So let's take a look at this one, for example. Okay, so this one, here we have a 62 class of entry, an inbound, which the profiling is Miami. We have one bill of lading. And from here, you can transmit that inbound. We're going to transmit it now. Or you can print the document, right? So let's go ahead and print the document and see how that 7512 looks like. All right, yeah, let's replace it. All right, so this document right here is your 7512, the one that we were seeing right now. So these documents, as you can see, we have all these fields open, allowing you to edit the information in case you want to add new information or change any of the information here. And then if you want to, let's say, seal the document to protect that no one else can change the information that you have here, you can hit on print. That will seal the document for you. So then you can share with any party of interest. All right. So also from our inbound portal, we have the ability to review CBP messages coming from customs. We have the ability to manage clients, entities related to those clients, as manufacturers, as shippers, consignees, importers as well, and then queries. So right now we only providing the query AMS, and this is the next topic. We're going to cover now how you can do a query from Magaya. But from this portal, from the inbound portal in particular, you can also query inbounds. So you can query ITs here as well. Right. So let me go back to the presentation. All right, so the AMS query. So one of the main pain points of the ISF and the AMS module that we have in Magaya is the lack of visibility. And it's because the first step, once you have a waybill number of a shipment that is coming into the US, is to check what information customs has for this shipment, right? You want to know what was filed by the carrier. So right before having this AMS query, you weren't able to verify this information. So what you had to do, you have to call the airline, you have to contact the carrier. And when actually the best way to do this is by querying AMS. And that's why we built the AMS query in Magaya. So the AMS query basically complements our ISF on our AMS module by giving you for the first time visibility over AMS. At the same time, empowers you as a freight forwarder with a very powerful tool that is only available on ABI systems to help you expedite the import process. So now you have the ability to query any bill of lading on our bill directly from Magaya. Now, the AMS query feature is usually included on ABI system, and most query providers have the query results as a PDF or an email. Very technical, and sometimes it's not human at all. So with this in mind, we wanted to make the AMS query as simple and painless as possible and provide a unique user experience, a modern, efficient, and human user experience. So we built this product with the user in mind, and we hope we can help you boost your productivity with this AMS query while at the same time you enjoy using the product. Same question we asked for inbound. It's important you understand how these products fit in your operation, right? So and this one is simple. Now you have visibility of what's happening on CBP. You can troubleshoot issues with confidence. You can know when to file ISF, when to file AMS, what is the status of the shipment. Okay, so let's see a quick demo of the AMS query. All right, getting some questions already. All right. So let's go back to Magaya. Let's go to this shipment. So from this shipment where we have a bill of lading and we also have a carrier, we can go to customs, query tools, and then from here, you can query AMS. This is available for any shipment in Magaya right now. Let's log in. So as you can see, we bring the issuer code and the bill of lading from Magaya. So you don't even have to type that. But in case you want to, you can change any of the information that is here. You can even work with a query, the AMS query open on another screen if you want to. So let's hit on query. Okay, so here we got the query results. We did our best to make this as readable as possible, as human as possible. Here we have the conveyance information, the inbound bill information, and then we have the additional information, what we call transaction information blocks, right? So, and here you can see the details of all the messages and all the history of this BOL in customs, right? We can see here what was matched to ISF. We can see that the bill is on file and what happens. If there's any hold as well, we'll be able to see it here. At the same time, if let's say right now we're only querying the master, but let's say that you want to include related bill of ladings in the result as well. So let's do that query again. And this was one of the main pain points because in other systems, you get a very long document with all these houses, and it was very difficult to navigate through it. So what we did here is that, let me maximize this. We group them by houses. So you can check the information that you really need to check, because probably you don't care about all those houses. And here you can see the history, the same information you have at the master level, you should have it here as well in the same way. Okay. And that is the AMS query. Let's go back to the presentation. Great. So before we get into the Q&A session, I just wanted to take a few seconds to talk about how the Magaya ecosystem for US customs is currently could help you right now, right? And the current status of this Magaya ecosystem. So let's review all you can do with Magaya right now. At this moment, we have ACELYNK. Very glad to have ACELYNK on our team, which is the portal to ABI. You have the ability to file any CBP transaction from ACELYNK. At the same time, from Magaya Explorer, you have the ability to file ISF, you have the ability to file AMS and inbounds as well. And additionally, we have the AMS query. So you can work with confidence and have visibility of all these filing to CBP. And on top of that, for exports, we have the ACE portal integration, a functionality that we have been supporting for years now. And by using it, you have the ability to reuse your file data, your shipment data for US exports. So we've built, I believe, a suite of products in Magaya that makes Magaya a unique offer for US customs and freight forwarding. Right. So now let's open it up for questions. Thank you for your time. Please submit your questions via the online questions panel that we have there.